Let's begin with a drum set. Listen for an explosive live sound. The snare should be crisp and the cymbals should ring.
I admire you when my living has a limit of desire to keep it going. I'm just knowing that my time with you makes a difference. How I'm feeling when I vibe with you. They can't divide us two. We got a bond like 007, right? Even on Devil's Night, you show me what the heavens like. Go ahead and spread your light, though I can barely see. I know you're there with me, my personal therapy. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. I'm just wishing that I had that too. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. Just to know you, I'm glad I do. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary. Yeah, I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary. You inspire me. Look at you crazy when you tell me you admire me. Not an example for anybody to try to be. We'll call you bluff, but I know you wouldn't lie to me. Just a surprise to me. We got a bond tight. No one can come between. I have respect for you. You have your love for me. And that's enough for me. All I need to get by. Let me be the method to your Mary J. Blige. So many times I felt defeated. You always know the right thing to say for when I need it. I wanna do the same thing for you to keep it even. You can call me anytime. You don't ever need a reason. I'm right here with you. Never could forget you. All the things that we've been through, everything we went through. Hey, none of it was simple, but I'm right here with you. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. I'm just wishing that I had that too. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. Just to know you, I'm glad I do. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary. Yeah, I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 8:01 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Monday, what's the date?
12th.
The 12th. Yes, Monday the 12th today. I have to tell you, I am happy for this week. A lot of stuff going on this week, a lot of great things. As you guys know, The end of the year is fast approaching, and Good Morning Aurora has a slew of great interviews coming up for you guys for the end of the year. I'll preview one of them. One of them is going to be a young lady by the name of Ashton Barbary. Ashton Barbary is a talented musician, singer, and songwriter out of the UK, and she'll be coming into America, and she'll be in America for a day. And in that day's time, she'll be a Good Morning Aurora. So, bada bing, bada boom, straight from Manchester to Aurora. That's going to be a really good one, so stay tuned for that. We got Eric Ward coming on the show this Friday. Eric Ward is the Executive Director of Family Counseling Services, dear friends of ours. So we'll be talking about many great things that can help families and those in the most need. Monica, how you feeling?
Doing well.
Word up. Gabriel, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay.
Had a great weekend, so
What'd you
really
do?
excited. That's a good question. I think I was just relaxed. I had a relaxing weekend, which was really nice. I know normally my weekends are pretty busy, so just relaxing weekends. On Friday, I went to go see magical performance at Matea. So shouts out.
Okay, yeah, shout out to the Mustangs.
Yeah,
Matea
Mustangs.
Mustangs.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's
That
up.
was, my first experience doing something like that. So a lot of fun, and they did a really good job. And the desserts, though, those were so good because magical dinner, or normally it's like a dinner or like a dessert, depending on which school you go. And it's all so fun, but then they have like a little reception afterwards, so it's always a lot of fun to go to those.
That reminds me. This will be a 45-minute show today. A little bit earlier show, shorter show for you guys today. We have a doctor's appointment to go to. The time is 8:03. Moro Jacobo. Good morning. Saul Olivas is here. Good morning, Saul. Heather Rainey, Jennifer Ryan Mayton is here as well. Joe, good morning to you as well. So, here's the thing. Let me tell y'all something. I saw something this weekend that really made my heart smile. It really did. And I'm going to share it with you guys here momentarily. So you guys know, I think it was a week or so ago, we told you a story about Haribo, the candy company.
Oh, yeah.
Where a guy in Germany, he just ordered some candy. That was it, nothing special. But in the bag of candy was a check for, I think, the American equivalent of like $400 million, something like that, some insane amount of money. And what he did was he called the company and said, hey, there's a check here for $400 million. What should I do? The lawyer said, hey, destroy the check for us, please. He destroyed the check. He sent pictures that he destroyed the check. And Haribo thanked him by sending him 6 bags of candy. And people around the world in Germany, too, were like, that's pretty cheap, blah, blah, blah. What's happening? It's the holidays coming up. They could have gave him something a little bit more. Well, let me tell you, there's a story out of L.A. County I want to share with you guys. This is absolutely beautiful. A young lady wrote a letter to the L.A. County Animal Care and Control Department. And I'll read the letter. It says, Dear L.A. County, I would like your approval if I can have a unicorn in my backyard if I can find one. Please send me a letter in response. She wrote the Los Angeles Department of Animal Control asking if she could have a pet unicorn. And you know what the Animal Care and Control Department of Los Angeles County did? They wrote her back. Listen to the letter. Dear young lady, thank you very much for your letter requesting permission to have a unicorn in your backyard. I'm pleased to tell you that the Los Angeles County Department of Animal Care and Control does license unicorns under the following conditions. This is good, man. This is good. 1, the unicorn must be cared for in compliance with all animal caretaking regulations set forth in Los Angeles County Code Title 10. The unicorn is given regular access to sunlight, moonbeams, and rainbows. This is an official document. 3, the unicorn is fed one of his favorite treats, watermelon, at least once each week. The unicorn's horn must be maintained to be in good health. This requires polishing at least once a month with a soft cloth. 5, any sparkles or glitter used on the unicorn must be non-toxic and biodegradable to ensure the unicorn's good health. It is always rewarding to hear from young people who thoughtfully consider the requirements of providing a loving home to animals. I commend your sense of, oh, Sheikh Abraham, good morning. I commend your sense of responsible pet ownership to seek permission in advance to keep a unicorn in Los Angeles County. Enclosed is a pre-approved unicorn license for you for when you can find one. In the meantime, because they are indeed very rare to find, we hope you will enjoy this enclosed unicorn with our compliments and appreciation for reaching out to our department. Warmest regards, and it's signed by the director. That was absolutely wonderful. They gave her a unicorn license. That's the dopest thing in the world.
That's really cool.
What I really like about the story is, like, because we're in the holiday season too, right? So, there's Santa Claus coming on. There's been a couple of discussions about, when is the age to stop promoting Santa Claus to your kids, whatever. I'm of the opinion that as long as they believe, let them rock with it, right?
Yeah.
Let them rock with it. I mean, come on. That's the kind of thing the world needs more of, because it could have happened a different way now. They could have been they could have not answered her, or some other person in the department, there's no such thing as we don't license frivolous imaginary animals. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't do that. You just roll with it, right? Just rock with it, man. Just rock with it. I think that was very cool. Monica, what do you think?
It's very sweet. It's very thoughtful. And I mean, it doesn't take a long time to compose a letter like that, or, just to make someone else's day.
Right. Just to make a young kid's day. So, Gabriel, what do you think?
I think it's always fun when, different departments do that, because if you think about it, there's so much monotony that happens at these departments. A lot of it is regular business as usual. So they don't normally get the opportunity to do fun things like that. And I mean, I say this as someone where there's a lot of work to be done, in these departments where they have so much work that they have to do. And it's, a lot of the time it can just get really boring. And so imagine, you get this letter, and that must have made their day.
Had to.
Just a letter comes in, and it's all about unicorns. And it's why would we not respond in an entertaining way? And what I think is so important for people to understand is that this is a little kid who still believes in unicorns and all that, and, in magic and Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. And so I think just having that memory, they're always going to have the memory that the director of the Los Angeles animal control came in, and
not the staff dude in the closet. No,
I mean, the director, and that's a memory they're always going to have, regardless of if they continue believing in unicorns, which is probably not likely. But they're always going to remember that positive interaction that they had with somebody that, for all intents and purposes, are probably not going to meet face to face. But it's really cool that they get that memory and something that they can cherish for years to come, and something that they can hopefully pass on.
Right. Yeah. It probably broke the monotony of work in the LA County Animal Control Department. I'm sure, with the exception of probably, animal cruelty cases or people needing to license exotic animals, I'm sure that had to break the boring part of the day. I'm sure that they appreciate that. The time is 8:10 a.m. What do you guys think about animals what do you guys think about animals and a young girl being licensed for a unicorn? I think that was pretty cool. The time is 8:10 a.m. So I also want to bring up, we have an important piece of news to you guys about housing. This is very important. The Illinois Department of Human Services announces $5 million in additional funding to expand emergency shelter capacity. Funding will support those experiencing homelessness. As the colder months approach, the demand for shelter is growing, and many shelter providers are already approaching maximum capacity. The increased demand could create difficulties for shelters, putting some of the most vulnerable Illinois residents at risk. To address this concern, the Illinois Department of Human Services announced today an additional $5 million million is being invested to support the expansion of emergency shelters during the winter months. This is very important. There's a lot of people who are in bad shape out there. And did you know that there's 5,000 people across the state of Illinois who are living on the street?
Wow.
Wow, that's a very important statistic to know. I didn't realize that. Is that many? 5,000?
5,000.
Wow.
People are living on the street.
And those are that number is only the number that, people counted. Because, like, like, during school and stuff, like, we would always talk about, like, that, can you really count how many homeless people there are? Because you can only count the people that you might see, but what about those that aren't counted for, like maybe children or other people who, don't show up for like the food pantries or stuff like that.
Right. That's true. So there's a lot of people who sleep in, there's a place in Aurora called Island. I think it's underneath it's under, what street is that back there? Ashland, I think it is. It's down a ravine, and there's people in encampments down there. Now, you would have to be counting the people in the encampments. So, yeah, that 5,000 is probably a very undercounted number. That's got to be an undercounted number.
Yeah, and because I know a lot of people who are, like, homeless, some of them do not want to be counted, or they don't really want a lot to do with the, when people are trying to count or take census or anything, some of them are very concerned about that for, whatever reason. And so it can certainly be a very undercounted population. I know, especially when the census was happening, that was a population where I'm very concerned that it was severely undercounted as far as homeless people. And because you have census workers going door to door, but who is going to, like, Island?
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, because I think the requirement for it, one of the requirements for the census is you need to have a physical location. You need an address to be counted, because when the census comes, it asks you how many people are living in your household. So those people wouldn't qualify to be recorded via the census. Which reminds me, take me to a commercial, because that plugs me into one of the most important things that we do have to talk about on this show today. Once again, the time is 8:14 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We are doing a 45-minute show today. This is going to be a shorter version of the show. This morning, your favorite radio host has to go to El Doctor. Illinois mortgage assistance is available. The Illinois Homeowners Assistance Fund has reopened, and the deadline is January 30th, I think it is. Anyway, up to $60,000 per household is available. The money can be used to pay delinquent mortgage payments, property taxes, homeowners insurance, and or flood insurance. Not anyone. ILHAF is a federally funded program to assist homeowners who are at risk of default, foreclosure, or displacement due to financial hardship caused by COVID-19. Now, why is that important? Well, if the state had to create another emergency fund of $5 million to help people, or to help shelters keep people off the streets during cold months, this is to keep people in their homes. That is, that's part A before we get to part B. I can tell you from experience, when the pandemic first happened and came about and started, it was a really scary time for a lot of people. There was no assistance whatsoever of anything. So for a lot of people, they had to either make a deal, have a good relationship with their landlord, or go live with a family member or something like that, because a lot of people lost their livelihoods. And I think for landlords too, it was interesting because a lot of them were living off other people's rent. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they're paying their mortgage off somebody else's rent. So the whole thing was a house of cards that just kind of fell apart. And I thought that was really one of the worst things about the pandemic. But I do see that, knock on wood, I do think that maybe the world and America's coming out of all that, but I really don't see what's gonna help people if the government doesn't step in to do that kind of or provide that kind of assistance. The time is 8:16 a.m. Joe Jackson says, best way to end homelessness is to not let it happen in the first place. It prevents incredible amounts of trauma for people already in a chaotic and traumatic time. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It won't make your life any easier, if you do lose your livelihood. There's a guy, right? So for those who are unfamiliar, the Neighbor Project is a local organization that can help people in desperate straits and times of need. But the point is to not get to that point in the first place. The point is to hopefully be able to take care of yourself and do what you need to do, and live a better life and stay in your home. And I think that at least locally, because Aurora is building a lot. We got the terminal building that's opened up. There's a lot of luxury apartments coming up, but as we just read, DuPage Pads and one of the other places, DuPage Pads, South Suburban Pads, and the Hesed House are the three places that are best placed to help people if they are experiencing homelessness. So we've talked about it before. The city, we want to keep everybody in mind because it's nice to have nice glamour, glitz, shiny stuff. But if you got homeless people living outside of it, that's not solving anything. The time is 8:18 a.m. So other than that, though, one of the other things that I did want to bring up today as we get into this week is I hope that as we go into the next year, I would like to see, so there's a lot of development taking place and things like that. The river is something that's going to be developed on. Did you guys notice that?
Oh, what are you
The
talking about?
apartments?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those apartments.
Yep.
I thought that was really cool. Like reading about it because it's like right now it's just this old parking lot that like nobody uses, except for like maybe whenever they have like a big event going on. It's kind of like this just random spot.
Which one are you talking about?
Or like the one right where Jake's is. Isn't that where they're doing development?
Oh, yeah. So that's behind the Aurora Township building.
Yeah.
So that's going to be apartments, but they're also building on the west side of the river, too.
Oh, the other side.
So the Hollywood
what is
Casino
this?
parking lot, from there all the way down to, what is that? Wilder Park. That's going to be apartments, too.
Okay.
Have they
I didn't
started?
realize that.
No, they haven't started building yet. And I don't even think the ink is dry on the deal yet. But they're going to start building apartments over there. They're going to be luxury apartments, too.
Oh, nice.
It is nice.
Cool. Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I don't think they're nice because I like to see the beauty of Aurora and its like greenery and stuff and like people walking like alongside the river and stuff like that, the geese going around walking, doing their thing. And like I don't know, just seeing like the apartment like, plans or whatever, like I just feel like they're way too big. I don't know.
Well, I feel two ways about it. The first way I feel is that I don't want to lose the view and all the nature. That's my thing. Like, if there's going to be luck, because if you've seen the pictures, which one of them was in the Beacon, if you saw the pictures, they're like, they're not high rises, but there's a deck up top. There's like a pool on top or something like that. There's amenities up top. That's going to be taking away from the view. So it's not going to be waterway anymore. Well, I mean, the water's going to be there, but like along
when you're
the
driving,
sides. Yeah,
you're
exactly.
not going to be able to see the river anymore. You're
right.
going to see the apartments.
Exactly. And even if you're on the walkway back there behind Jake's that goes behind River Edge Park, there's only going to be so much grass for you to see. You know what I'm saying? Then the rest is going to be apartments. Like right now, you got geese, you got waterfowl, birds, and everything like that. That's not going to be there. Well, I mean, there's probably going to be geese there. Geese are migratory, and they come back, and they'll find a way.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that like the rest of that's going to even be nice. I think that on the one hand, it's going to be a luxury city, right? But we got homeless people,
Yeah, and
then the wildlife is gone. I don't know. What
Yeah.
do you guys think about it? You can let us know in the chat. The time is 8:21 a.m. Gabriel, if you'd be so kind while they're putting in the chat what they think, go ahead and give us some local news, please. Anthony Ortiz, good morning, right back at you. Anthony Ortiz is a dear friend of the show. Hang on, before you get to the news, you can take us to a commercial, though. Before you get into the news, let me tell you something. I'd like to say good morning to the Friends of Masons, dear friends of ours. Anthony Ortiz, a dear friend of ours as well, combat Marine, Corps veteran, great guy doing great things in the city of Elgin. If you or someone you know can benefit from any services in Elgin, I implore you to contact the city council, respective bodies, or reach out to the Friends of Masons, who are always doing good community things in the city. Go ahead, Gabriel. Take it away, baby.
Thursday, December 22nd from 6 to 7 p.m., Good Morning Aurora will host a special breakfast with our partners of King County Government and law enforcement. Join online as King County State's Attorney Jamie Mosser reviews her first 2 years in office and discusses plans, initiatives, and what to expect for the next 2 years. This will be live on our Facebook page and will be an enlightening conversation. Tune in, and this event is free and open to the public.
Okay, now hang on a second. You said breakfast.
Oh, broadcast. Sorry.
Right. I was about to say.
I was excited. I was a breakfast.
Oh, breakfast. You know,
I was
I
like,
read
hold
that
on,
wrong.
what?
You're right. It's special broadcast.
Yeah, nah.
Oh, we got
First of all, it's going to be like,
scratch
that out. First of all, it's going to be at 6 o'clock at night. And even though pancakes and sausage is good anytime, it won't be a breakfast.
Yeah.
But also about that, real quick before you get on to the next part, also about that too, though, this is important because the Kane County government, law enforcement, and all the other partners that we work with, they got a lot of good things that are taking place and a lot of informative things that are going to be coming up too. So please keep your eye on that. All right, Gabriel.
Okay. I'm glad we straightened that out.
Right.
Yes, it's not a breakfast. Although that would be really good. Like, imagine if you sit down, you have like the broadcast going, and you're having like some eggs and bacon or something, and you're talking about like the new things the state's attorney is doing. That'd be pretty cool.
No, it would be.
Yeah,
It would be a. I mean, that was a good mistake. Maybe that could be a very good a good event coming out of that.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like sometimes mistakes become good ideas.
Yep. Time is 8:24.
Thursday, December 15th from 6 to 10 p.m., the King County Democratic Woman will be holding a great holiday party and enticing cuisine located at 1117 North Washington Avenue in Batavia. It will be great food and fellowship just in time for the holidays. The Neighbor Project and Everlasting Word Church have teamed up for a senior clothing drive going on now until the end of the year. New or gently used items are very much appreciated. See the flyer for more specifics or call 630-906-1392. Again, that number is 630-906-1392. With any questions, both locations of 32 South Broadway Avenue and 22 North Highland Avenue can receive items. Thank you.
All right, good stuff. Oh wait, hold on. Now, in there, is there news about court-based rental assistance? If there is, please read that.
Let me check. I think that's probably up at the top.
Might be up at the top. I need people. This is if for those noticing, this is heavy. We're going into the end of the year here. Good Morning Aurora is trying to desperately get anyone and everyone who needs any kind of help with housing. If you need help with housing, if your situation is dire, if you need help with any resources in housing, we're trying to give you that news today specifically. Where can I get bins for a coat drive? I think Walmart, you can get like
Big lots.
big lots. Yeah. Go ahead with the court-based rental assistance.
Court-based rental assistance is still available for those in court eviction proceeding due to non-payment. The non-payment is conditioned on financial hardship due to the pandemic. Eligible applicants may qualify for up to $25,000 in emergency rental payments. This program is open to anyone in the state and is not conditioned by county. The deadline for applications is June 2023, so you have 6 months. Wow. For more information, scan the QR code on the flyer that have we posted the flyer?
We have, yeah. And also anybody interested can go to the Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram of the Neighbor Project.
Okay. And you can also call 630-906-9400. Again, that number is 630-906-9400.
All right. Thank you very much. The time is 8:26 a.m. Once again, if you're just joining us, you're listening to Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. This is a short episode today. We are going until 8:45 a.m. Anthony Ortiz says the city of Elgin is planning a redevelopment on the riverfront too. In the first design draft, there will be green space and a bunch of high-density mixed-use buildings. These apartments are on the higher-end price tag. Right. Now, that's another thing. Scratch it up. Who can afford some of these new prices?
Not me.
Right? Some of these places. Now, I want to make sure I plant the flag in this conversation proudly. Chicago, we are not Chicago. We don't have the same infrastructure in a lot of places that Chicago does. However, some of the Chicago apartments that are new and are built as luxury apartments and have come up are like the studios start off at $1,800. That's a lot of money for a studio apartment. Now, the plans and some of the floor plans that I've seen here in Aurora are really good. I haven't seen any prices for them yet, but they're nice, but there is the thought process of who will be able to afford them. Because if you build it, people don't build things just to have the building sitting there and be empty. People aren't spending tens and hundreds of millions of dollars to build luxury apartments for them to sit empty. There is the thought process that people are going to be able to afford them. On the other hand, though, there's a new class of people who are coming up that are young, upwardly mobile, and they're able to afford that kind of thing. Because a lot of people have talked about gentrification. And I don't think and gentrification means that you take out who lives there and you replace with somebody else. But on Broadway in downtown Aurora, that's not really the case. There's just a lot of stuff that hasn't been used and has been sitting idle, like the terminal building. The terminal building was empty. I think the article said that I read, it said the last business that was in there left in 1995. So that's not gentrification. That's just that's repurposing and using an old building that was sitting there.
Exactly. And I think that's a very important thing to explain is that most of these buildings have been empty and for years, which unfortunately means that a lot of these buildings have deteriorated over time. And especially it's for a lot of businesses, it's too expensive to rehabilitate the building and to fix it up as for storefront or anything. For a lot of the businesses, it's just too expensive for that. So that's why we're seeing some businesses will move their storefronts to other locations that have been restored or have been continuously used for many years, because it's a lot harder to get into a building that's been empty for 15 years than a building that's consistently been used for the same amount of time. So that's really important.
Right. And so Anthony, this is the other thing that Anthony said here that I wanted to, what he said. He said the city of Elgin is planning a redevelopment on the riverfront too. In the first design, there will be green space and a bunch of high density mixed use buildings. We have to also acknowledge the fact that Aurora, Batavia, St. Charles, Elgin, and Anthony, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I think there's a couple other towns. Anyway, we're on a river. We're all river towns. So I do believe that building and developing your river towns is a smart thing to do. So it's the balance. What's the correct balance? Do you want to have no development at all? Or do you want to have development that's able to help as many people, right? We want to be progressive and be the cities of the future. But I think, again, we got to do it right, because my entire job revolves around helping people in housing. So, I mean, as a resident of Aurora, I want the city to look nice. I want us to have nice things. I'd like for Aurora to be as upwardly mobile as possible. But, I mean, I care more about people who have a place to live. You know what I'm saying? So I do like the development and everything like that, but I think we can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. All right. Other than that, I do have something else to tell you, great, wonderful, and dear people, about as well. The time is 8:32 a.m. Gabriel, please do me a favor, young man, and take your boy, take your brother to a personal commercial. The time is 8:32 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Mr. and Miss Black Aurora, the pageant for Aurora high school students, is going on, and it's going to be, the date for that's going to be Saturday, February 4th at the Copley Theater. We've shared the link for that. There was already the virtual information session that took place already. Now, this event is for all Aurora High School students wishing to participate. Shouts out to the African American Heritage Advisory Board for creating and sponsoring this fantastic event. The African American Heritage Advisory Board does a whole lot for people here in the city of Aurora. So please, if you can, support their efforts, support the things that they do and the things that take place out there in our fantastic community. There's also information about the nominations. Can you read that, Gabriel? I don't have that flyer. I think it was the nominations also by the African American Heritage Advisory Board. Can you read that real quick?
Yeah. The Mr. and Miss Black Aurora pageant will be held on Saturday, February 4th at the Copley Theater.
Oh, no, scratch it up. Not that one, baby. Not that one.
Not that.
The one for, it's African American Leader of the Year. There's nominations for something else.
Okay. Yeah, because we had the Mr. and Miss Black pageant. Okay, so like, let me see.
It should be in our news.
Okay, there we
roll.
go.
You got it?
Never mind.
Okay.
Yep, found it. Nominations are now open for the African American Leader of the Year. The African American Heritage Advisory Board is hosting this event on the evening of their annual Heritage Dinner. This event honors those Aurorans who've made an impact locally. For more information and submissions, visit this link, and we'll be posting that in the chat.
Yes, please do. Thank you very much for that. The time is 8:34 a.m. As we mentioned, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter show today. The time is 8:34. We're going to go until, excuse me, 8:45 this morning. Okay, here it is. The Tanner House, the historic Tanner House in Aurora, is open for holiday tours. Decorated for the holidays, it's open on select days. The house features 8 specially decorated rooms. It's open from 4 to 7 p.m. Fridays in December and from 1 to 4 p.m. Sundays, December 11th and the 18th. It's a tradition for the Aurora Historical Society to host guest decorators from the community at the house. And according to the Aurora Historical Society Board President, Mary Clark Ormond, this has produced a wide variety of themes and styles over the years. One of the rooms this year will have a new twist. Quote, Mr. Tanner's library will have the flavor of a museum display since it is devoted to items from the personal collection of Auroran Sean Van Campen, a retired land surveyor, close quote. Van Campen has been collecting antique surveying equipment and memorabilia for nearly half a century. William Tanner was a surveyor and surveyed early subdivisions of land in Aurora. Quote, this is so interesting because Sean feels a kinship with pioneer Illinois. Scratch it up. Sip it up. Oh, y'all ain't got nothing to sip. I have a headache, so it's kind of hard to read right now. Let me try that again. I was fumbling over the English language. This is sick. This is so interesting because Sean feels a kinship with pioneer Illinois surveyors like Mr. Tanner and Abraham Lincoln, close quote. She said a notable piece that will be on display is a compass thought to be by the hand of Elias Hoe, the inventor of the sewing machine. and probably dating to around 1830. Other themes in the house this year range from a formal Victorian dinner to a 1960s Christmas with the Rat Pack and friends. Admission to the house at 304 Oak Avenue in Aurora is free, although donations are appreciated. After the holiday events, the house will be closed until May 28th. Good stuff. Gabriel, you ever been to the Tanner House?
Yes, I actually volunteered one of these past years as a holiday docent.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a really fun experience. You learned a lot about the history of the Tanner House and the different features of the house. So it's a really interesting experience learning about it. And there's a lot of really cool parts about that house. Like, I'm always fascinated by Victorian homes and how, like, just they're all like, they make it feel so much bigger than what it is because they have all these doors and little like crannies and nooks, because I guess back in the day it was very like heat efficient or like energy efficient to have all these little corners and things in your house. So
Really?
that's I think that's what I heard is that the more like that's how they did it, because for like heating it would maintain the heat better or something.
You ever been there?
Mm-mm.
I haven't been there either. I've never been to the Tanner House. I've seen it a million times, but I've never been there. So maybe I should get a tour one of these days. That sounds like it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, good morning, Aurora. Oh, we're doing. Yeah, that'd be fun for one of our evening.
What are we doing?
Oh, our
Like
evening.
what are we doing?
We're thinking about doing that. The
I'm going to the doctor after the show. What are we doing?
Yeah, no. Well, for some of our like evening segments,
Oh, okay.
that would be.
Well,
that'd be
I've
fun.
you bring up a good point, because I've seen tours later. They do a tour that happens in the early evening part of the
They do
time. I used to live on the west. I used to live on Grand and Plum for a little bit before I moved downtown, in downtown Aurora. So, I have to check that out. 304 Oak Avenue is also where we have one of our properties at too. So I'm familiar with the Tanner House, quite familiar. The time is 8:38 a.m. Okay, Gabriel put the link in there for the Leader of the Year. Thank you very much for that, Gabriel. I appreciate that. Other than that, you guys, since we are doing an early show today, I hope that you guys are ready for a new year. I hope you are. I hope you're mentally prepared for a new year. I hope that I just, a week ago we asked you, what are you leaving in 2022 and what do you want to bring into 2023? A lot of you gave us some good responses. Keep it up, because I do hope that everybody can get out of this year and go into a brand new year. Things are looking up for a lot of different people. Things are happening for people, and we're happy to see that. But, take care of yourself and each other is what we always tell you. And a lot of people still aren't there. We got to make sure that if we're able to rise up, we can look out for somebody else and make sure that they're able to rise up too. But I'm excited. I'm excited for a new year. I hope a lot of development in the city that's happening right now starts to bear more fruit and come back. I was just in front of for those who know me, you guys know my office is about 102 feet that way. And I went this morning. It took me some ibuprofen. And right when I walked out the door of the office, I took a slight look to the right, and I saw the beautiful, shiny terminal building. Nice marble facade, but there's going to be a restaurant in the bottom of that too, which we don't know what it'll be yet. So the city's looking good, and I just really want to see things come to fruition. I just want it to bubble to the top, So I hope that it does, and I hope that all of you guys who are doing good things right now just continue that great work. There's a lot of organizations out there that are doing some good stuff too. Shouts out to Hesed House. Shout out to Mutual Ground. Mutual Ground's doing a lot of good things in regards to domestic violence awareness. As we continue to go into a brand new year, we got to make sure that we can, look out for somebody else and try to help somebody else if we can, because that's what it's all about. It's not about us, it's not a we thing. It's a us thing, So I hope that I hope that that does come to fruition, man. I really would like to see Aurora and all parts of it shine and sparkle. I really would. In that regard, too, Gabriel, take me to one more personal commercial. The time is 8:41 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. In regards to that, let's see if I can freestyle it because my other phone just tapped out on a brother. There is so every month going forward and going into this next year, as Gabriel talked about with the not breakfast, but the broadcast that we have specially, the Kane County government and Good Morning Aurora, Kane County government and Good Morning Aurora have forged a partnership, an intensely strong partnership. And it has three components. One is law enforcement. Two is services. The third component which is kind of under services, is like community services, but also mental health services. So with that being said, next year you will hear a whole lot of mental health related news, initiatives, and things coming out of Good Morning Aurora. Now, a lot of them will be in tandem with the Kane County government, but a lot of them are just going to be different initiatives on our own, working with the Aurora Youth Council. Gabriel, you brought that up, so yep. We'll be booking that sometime.
Yeah, we'll be coordinating for mental health. I think it's kind of forum. With Tammy DePage, I believe.
Right. Now, the reason why that we're going to be focusing a lot on mental health next year is kind of twofold. On the one hand, it's the right thing to do, and we want to end the stigma associated with mental health. And there's a lot of people out here who are struggling silently with a lot of different things, and they don't know who to turn to, who to rely on, who can help them. So that's part one of it. The other part, though, is, and I think this is where we'll end the show today, the other part is personal. It's personal. It really is. For those who've been listening to this show, you will know that this show started during COVID. It started in what was a low point in my life. And because of that, all the people who've kind of joined this journey and been listening to the show ever since then, I want to keep helping them. I really do. And I'm at the point now, especially working for the Neighbor Project. Joe Jackson knows what's up. But not everybody, we can't help everybody. We just can't. Can't help everybody. I just read to you guys about the mortgage assistance program and the court-based rental assistance program. The state of Illinois give you $60,000 for the mortgage. If you're behind in your rent, maybe $25,000 to help you out. But not everybody is eligible. You got to check a box. You may not get the money, even if you are behind in your rent. So what happens to the people who are behind in their rent but didn't meet every single thing? What happens to them? Nobody knows. Just like Monica was talking about with the people who are, there's 5,000 people. I mean, there's more than that. We know that. There's way more people living on the street, but nobody knows. What happens to the people who are behind on their rent or mortgage but didn't qualify? Are they just going to magically get caught up on their mortgage? Is Santa going to give them more? No. Right? My entire life now, especially with working, is getting to the point where for every one person I help, or we help rather, there's like 2 or 3 other families or households which just didn't make, for whatever reason. And we don't have any control over that. I don't. So what I want to do is I want to try to provide that, not a safe space, but I want to kind of give that extra layer of either help or support or dialogue or talking or workshop or whatever to help those people if we can. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we're going to talk about or be doing a little bit more when it comes to mental health and things like that in this next year coming up. Because I've had a really, I had a hard time when COVID came and, things started to get a little bit better. But there's a lot of people who got worse, who didn't make it. And I think for every person who runs the race and they go through the tape and they get the champ, right? It's like that one song, what does it take to be number one? 2 is not a winner, and 3 nobody remembers. Remember that song? Nelly? Oh, you yeah, you 18. You don't remember that song. Damn, old as hell.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers that song. Maybe I should just end right now. Okay, well, anyway, the point of it was that, it's cool to be number one and be a winner, but there comes a time where you start thinking about everybody who didn't make it. So I think that's what I'm going to focus on. That's what we're going to focus on next year. We're going to focus on the people who didn't make it, and we're going to reach back down and make sure we're going to reach back down, stick our hand out, and hopefully lift them up. The time is 8:47 a.m. Thank you very much for tuning into the show today, you guys. I hope that you guys all have a blessed, positive, uplifting, motivated week. Good Morning Aurora will return to you on Wednesday. Pray for me as I go to Mercy today. I'm kind of scared. I haven't. The last time I was in a hospital wasn't good. A lot of you guys remember that. It was real bad. I'm not a guy who gets rattled by much, but I have to tell you, my cage is shaking in the wind today. So pray for a brother as we go about this day. Take care of yourself and each other.